Hey everybody, this is Eric Folks, Mobile Learning Specialist for Lampasas ISD. Today we're going to talk about, as part of the student orientation to the iBadger iPad initiative, the iPad hardware. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to notice is that your iPad is covered with a Griffin Survivor case. At least that's what we're using right now. The cases vary a little bit in terms of the color. We try to keep the color the same across grade level, but they're all designed to keep your iPad safe from accidental falls and spills and things like that. But they can only do so much. We still want to look after the iPad and protect it and keep it from being damaged. Okay, so as we're looking at the iPad in portrait view, where it is top to bottom lengthwise, there are three buttons, three areas I want to focus on. The first is the home button. Home button is used for all kinds of different things. You can use it to wake up the iPad, to return to your first screen when you are on other screens in the iPad. There are different functions and features based on a single click of the home button, a double click, a triple click, and all these can be customized, and we'll get into them later. Right below the home button is where you plug in the iPad. Most of you probably already figured that out. Above, at the very top of the iPad, is your front-facing camera, or your front camera. This is great for recording you, explaining things. You'll be able to actually see your face while you are doing the recording, so that you can see what you look like and everything else. The resolution on this camera is not quite as good as the camera on the other side, which I'll show you here in just a second, but nevertheless it still takes pretty good high quality video. Okay, let's see what we've got next. Alright, so at this point I've taken my iPad and I've just kind of turned it on its side so that I'm looking at the top right corner. And in the top right hand corner there are a few very important buttons. The first is the volume up and down. Pretty straightforward. You can use that, and some of the older iPads have a side switch up here, and that side switch can be used to mute the iPad or to lock the iPad's orientation between portrait and landscape mode. You can adjust the settings for the side switch either using the control panel, which we'll show you later, or you can go into the settings and make that adjustment in the settings as well. Then right above on the very top of the right hand corner is the power button or the sleep button. If you just do a single click, it will either put the iPad to sleep or wake it up depending on what state it's in before you click it. And then if you long press on that power button, you can turn off your iPad completely. Generally we don't recommend turning off the iPad. You just need to put them to sleep. They should go to sleep automatically, and by default that's set to just a couple minutes, but if you want to force it to go to sleep, you can do that by just clicking on that button. Okay, the last thing we need to talk about is the headphone jack. So you can see over here is where you're going to plug in your headphones. You want to make sure that you use the right size, which is going to be pretty obvious if it fits or not. Just don't force anything in there. And then what's even more important is that you do not leave your headphones plugged into your iPad when you are storing or transporting your iPad, whether you're putting on the shelves or putting in a backpack. We've had a lot of the headphones actually snap off inside the iPad, and then had students who had no sound for their iPad. So just make sure that you unplug it when it's time to store or transport, and you'll be good to go. All right, hope this hardware orientation has been helpful, and you all have a great day. Thanks.